My name is Arthur. I am 36 years old and recently divorced. The reason? I don't know myself. Probably Alicia got tired of what she once called a boring family. Nevertheless, we didn't even have to go to court for custody. Lucas stayed with me. He's 12, and I guess I should be grateful for that alone. At first, it was hard without Alicia. Lucas blamed me, but 5 minutes later he would break down and apologize with tears in his eyes. But as a wise man once said, time heals all wounds. In the end, I was able to buy a house outside the city, away from the noise and constant pressure. It's a pretty simple place. A one-story house with a kitchen, bathroom, living room, and 2 bedrooms. One for Lucas, one for me. I was surprised at how happy Lucas was when he found out about our house. He hadn't been very talkative lately, and except when it came to crying, it seemed right. A new beginning. We spent the day rearranging furniture, putting Lucas's things in his room, and trying to keep Cookie, our dog, from interrupting us every 5 seconds. He followed us from room to room, wagging his tail as if he were as excited about the move as Lucas was. I fed Cookie, Lucas and I had pizza for dinner, and night fell quickly. Lucas went to his room and I went to mine. I can say with confidence that I fell asleep quickly. I woke up quickly too. I woke up with the distinct feeling that I was being watched. I looked around the room, but it was empty. Only shadows and unfamiliar shapes in the darkness. Just normal paranoia in a new place, I thought to myself. Then I heard a scratching sound at my door. I exhaled with relief and whispered as quietly as I could, but loud enough to be heard. "Not today, Cook. Go to sleep." The scraping stopped. I laid my head back on the pillow. Sighing, I closed my eyes. Suddenly, something moved at the foot of the bed. Cook raised his head above the bed frame, half closing his eyes and twitching his ears at the sound of his name. The scratching resumed. In shock, I quickly swung my legs off the bed and stood up. I walked to the door, knelt down in front of it, and put my eye to the keyhole. When I looked through it, I saw nothing. Everything was pitch black. Suddenly, an eye appeared out of the darkness. It didn't blink or move, it just stared. It was so close that I could barely make out its eyelids. The pupil was unnaturally small, and the iris was surrounded by dark red veins. I quickly got up and threw open the door. Nothing. No one and nothing that could be the source of that eerie gaze. No sounds, just a long, empty, dark hallway. I quickly grabbed Cookie and carried him to Lucas's room. Trying my best not to wake him, I locked the door and lay down on the floor, hugging Cookie until we fell asleep. The next day went mostly normally, except that Lucas asked why I was sleeping on his floor. He's just a kid going through his parents' divorce. I won't bother him with my nightmares. We spent the day finishing up the repairs. Night fell, and this time I put the gun in the top drawer of the nightstand. It may seem excessive, but when you're woken up by something that shouldn't be there, caution seems wise. Lucas was asleep. I picked up Cookie and went to my room. I locked the bedroom door, put Cookie on the bed, and covered us with my Tom Sawyer blanket. We slowly drifted off to sleep, but not for long. This time it wasn't scratching, it was breathing. Heavy breathing. Cookie was trembling next to me. I got up and went to the door, kneeling in front of it again and peering through the keyhole. The eye was there. "Go away. Leave us alone," I whispered, trying to keep my voice steady, hoping that it or he would go away. And so it moved, slowly up and to the left, leaving me in the darkness of the hallway. Even though it was gone, I wasn't sure whether I should feel relieved or uneasy. I took the gun out of the drawer and put it on the nightstand. I lay down again, comforting Cook, hugging him with my arm and listening to the silence. And then I heard a voice. A muffled voice. "Dad, what are you doing? This isn't funny." My heart stopped. I grabbed the gun and ran to my son's room. That thing. It was trying to hurt my son. I couldn't let that happen. No way. When I approached his bedroom door, I saw nothing and no one. I opened the door, and my son was sitting on the bed, covered with a blanket up to his face. "Dad, what's going on?" he asked, his eyes wide open. "Nothing, son. Just go back to sleep." "You just had a nightmare," I muttered, hiding the gun behind my back. Every encounter with this thing ended the same way. It disappeared. I called Cuckoo and asked him to lie down in bed with Lucas. After calming them both down, I went to the living room and started looking for my ex-wife's sewing kit. In her rush to leave our old and boring family, she didn't even bother to take them with her. Thank God. After looking through countless boxes, I found a thin sewing pin that easily fit into the keyhole. Try spying on us again, I thought to myself. I returned to my son's room with the gun and the pin in my hands. Lucas and Cook were asleep. I sat on the floor and just waited and waited. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, breathing resumed. Heavy breathing. I approached the door with the pin in my right hand and the gun in my left as a last resort. I knelt down and pressed my eye to the keyhole and saw it again. That disgusting, unblinking eye. "What do you want?" I whispered. Nothing. No blinking, no movement. Just that unnerving stare. Okay, I muttered in a trembling voice. Let's see how you react to this. I grabbed the pin, squeezing it tighter. Slowly and carefully, I brought it to the keyhole. Then, with a quick movement, I pushed it forward. There was a dull thud, and that was all I heard before darkness engulfed me. When I came to, I wasn't in Lucas's room. I was lying on the floor in the living room. The house was quiet. Everything looked normal. Except for one detail, my left eye. It was gone.